You know, it's pretty wild to think about, but what if I told you that centuries ago, alchemists were basically practicing nanotechnology? We're talking about taking gold, one of the most sought-after metals on Earth, and turning it into a healing substance. To really get how they did it, we've got to go back in time.
So, to really get this, let's do something a little different. For the next few minutes, just forget I'm your host. Instead, imagine I'm a Rasacharya, an alchemist from the 12th century. And my whole life, my entire life's work is dedicated to one thing: taking gold, this heavy, inert metal, and transforming it into a nectar, a true healing substance for the body.
I know what you're thinking. Gold is precious, right? It's pure, but in its raw form, as a metal, it's heavy. It's actually harmful if you were to, eat it. So my job, my craft, is to take you on the journey of its complete transformation. You're going to see how we turn this potential poison into a powerful medicine.
Now, this isn't something you just whip up in an afternoon. Oh no, this is a careful, four-step ritual, a secret passed down for generations. First, we have Shuddhi, that's the purification. Then comes Mardana, the grinding. After that, the trial by fire, we call it a put. And finally, when everything is done, we have the pariksha, our final tests.
All right, so let's begin. Step one is Shuddhi. And look, we're not just, washing the gold here. The whole point is to break its spirit, to shatter its metallic nature. We have to make it ready for what comes next. So here's what I do. I take these really thin sheets of gold and I heat them in the fire until they're glowing. I mean, absolutely red hot. And then bam, I plunge them straight into this special mix I've prepared. It's a concoction of buttermilk and horse graham. And I don't just do it once. I do it over and over and over again. This constant shock of hot and cold, it just shatters the gold's toughness. It makes it brittle, purified, and perfectly prepped for the next step. Okay, so the gold is purified. Now the real work begins. This stage is called Mardana. And trust me, this is where pure hard work and relentless pressure start to unlock something incredible inside the gold. Something on a scale so small, you can't even see it. Picture this. For months on end, I'm sitting right here with my mortar and pestle. I take that brittle gold, and I just grind, day in, day out. I mix it with a bit of mercury, which I believe is the key to breaking apart those stubborn metallic bonds, and some fresh basil juice. It's just relentless, constant rubbing. It's a true test of patience, of endurance. All right, hang on. Let's step out of the 12th century for just a second. We gotta talk about this term, nanoparticle. So, what is it? Well, today's science tells us it's a particle that's unbelievably tiny, somewhere between 1 and 100 nanometers. To give you some perspective, a single sheet of paper, that's about 100,000 nanometers thick. So yeah, we're talking about a scale that is just mind-bogglingly small. So that whole process I just described, that endless manual grinding, well, it turns out it physically smashes the gold particles down to a size of just 20 to 50 nanometers. That puts it smack dab in the middle of the nanoparticle range. Think about that. This is ancient nanotechnology, all done by hand with no modern machines, no high-tech labs. It's just incredible, really. Okay, let's go back to my workshop. So now I have this nanoparticle paste. The gold has been ground down. Now we move on to the most intense, the most transformative part of the whole process. It's time for the put, the trial by fire. Here's how it works. I take the paste and I seal it up tight between two shallow clay dishes. It makes a little sealed container. Then I place that container into a carefully built fire of dried cow dung cakes. Now that might sound strange, but it gives me this really controlled, really intense, long-lasting heat. And that whole process, that's one put. But here's the thing. We don't just do it once. Oh no. After the first fire, we let it cool, we open it up, and we do the whole thing again. Maybe 10 times, maybe 100. For the really powerful stuff, we might do it up to 1,000 times. Can you imagine? With every single fire, the gold sheds more and more of its metallic self, slowly turning into this fine, medicinal ash that we call Bhasma. So, after all that work, all that grinding, all that fire, how do I know it's ready? How do I know it's safe? I don't have a modern microscope to check, right? Well, I have something even better. I have the pariksha, these 1,000-year-old tests that you'll see are shockingly scientific. My tests are elegant, and they tell me everything I need to know. First up is Varthar, the floating test. I take just a tiny pinch of the Bhasma and sprinkle it on some calm water. If it floats, it passes. It's that simple. Now, why does that matter? Because it proves the particles are so light they can sit on top of the water. It confirms they're nanoparticles. Then there's the Rekha Porna test. I take a bit and rub it into my fingertips. It has to completely vanish into the little lines of my fingerprint. No residue left behind. That tells me it's fine enough to get inside the body's cells.
And that right there is the whole point. That's the goal of this entire long, difficult process. To create this nanogold that's been proven by my ancient tests, it's now what you might call bioavailable. It can actually get into the bloodstream and deliver its healing power right where it's needed, at the cellular level.
So when you step back and look at it, this process combines alchemy, metallurgy, and something that looks a heck of a lot like nanotechnology. It really makes you think, doesn't it? As we keep pushing forward with modern science, you have to wonder, how many of our biggest discoveries are really just rediscoveries? Secrets that were hidden in plain sight all along in ancient wisdom.